The morning sun peeked gently through the tall pine trees, spilling gold across the clearing where Masha twirled in her pink dress. The air smelled like honey and grass, and somewhere nearby, a lazy bumblebee hummed its tiny morning song. Today's the day, Masha announced to the clouds, raising her little hands high. I'm going to do something big, something brave. She puffed out her chest and grinned, but then a small frown appeared. I just don't know what it is yet. From behind a berry bush, a deep voice rumbled softly. Oh, big and brave, you say? It was Bear, holding a basket full of freshly picked apples. He smiled kindly, though one of his furry eyebrows lifted with suspicion. Last time you said that, we ended up with flour on the ceiling and honey on the curtains. Masha giggled, twirling again. That wasn't brave, Bear. That was messy. This time I mean really brave. Bear chuckled, shaking his head. He'd known Masha long enough to know that when she said something like that, adventure and a little chaos was on the way. As they walked to a forest stream, Masha's eyes sparkled. Across the rushing water was a tiny island covered in wildflowers. There, that's it, she shouted. My brave thing. I'm going to jump to the other side. Bear blinked in surprise. The stream wasn't very wide, but the water bubbled fast and loud, swirling around rocks like tiny whirlpools. Masha, he said gently, that's not just jumping, that's leaping. It's tricky. Masha stepped closer to the edge, her shoes crunching on pebbles. She stared at the dancing water, her heart thumping with both fear and excitement. But I can do it, she whispered. I have to be brave. The wind blew her hair across her face, as if the forest itself was testing her courage. Bear watched quietly, knowing Masha's spirit was strong, but he also knew bravery wasn't about rushing. It was about knowing when to take a step and when to wait. Masha crouched, ready to leap. 1, 2. She froze. The sound of the rushing water grew louder in her ears. It looked so far now, farther than before. 3, she whispered, but her knees wobbled. Bear set down his basket and came beside her, his big paw resting gently on her shoulder, raising gently on her shoulder. Even the bravest heart can tremble, he said softly. That doesn't make it any less brave. Masha looked up at him. But I thought being brave means not being scared at all. Bear smiled, the corners of his eyes crinkling warmly. And me, little one. Bravery is when your heart is scared, and you still try, carefully and wisely. He pointed at a few large rocks sticking out of the water like stepping stones. You don't have to jump all at once. You can take one small leap at a time. Her eyes widened. Step by step, they nodded. Exactly. Even the tallest trees started as tiny seeds. Masha looked back at the island. The flowers waved at her like they believed in her too. So she took a deep breath, her little chest rising high, and stepped onto the first rock. Splash! A little water sprayed up, making her giggle. That wasn't so bad, she cheered. Bear clapped his paws together. There you go, one brave step. She hopped to the next rock, then another, her laughter growing louder each time. Look, there, I'm doing it. The water gurgled below, and the sunlight sparkled around her like tiny stars. Finally, with one last hop, she landed on the soft island grass. I made it, she cried, spinning in circles. I'm the bravest Masha in the whole forest. Bear smiled proudly from the other side. You surely are, little one. He began crossing after her, stepping carefully between rocks that looked much smaller under his big paws. Halfway across, one rock wobbled. Oof, he grunted, arms flailing. Masha gasped. Bear, careful. The big bear steadied himself and chuckled. See? Even bears have wobbly steps sometimes. Masha grinned. Then we're both brave. When Bear reached the island, they sat together among the wildflowers. The breeze carried the scent of pine and adventure. Masha plucked a yellow flower and tucked it behind Bear's ear. You helped me be brave, she said softly. Bear smiled, looking at the flower. Ah, you already were. You just needed to see it. Masha tilted her head. But what if I fall next time? What if I can't do it? Bear thought for a moment. Then I'll be here to help you up. That's what friends do. The sky slowly turned orange as the sun began to set. The stream glittered with golden light. Masha lay on the grass, staring at the sky. You know, Bear, she said dreamily, maybe bravery isn't about doing something big. Maybe it's about doing something small, even when it's scary. Bear nodded, his deep voice gentle. That's right. Sometimes the biggest leap you'll ever take is believing in yourself. A soft silence filled the air, broken only by birds singing their evening song. That would make you not just brave, but kind. Masha giggled. Then I'll be brave and kind. Double power. She raised her little fist like a hero. Bear laughed so hard the wild flowers swayed from the sound. As they made their way back across the rocks, Masha skipped with light feet, not afraid this time. She even hummed a tune, something bright and bouncy, like sunshine dancing on water. Bear followed behind, watching her proudly, his heart full of warmth. He remembered when Masha first came to his forest. Wild, curious, always rushing into everything. But today, she had learned something precious. Courage wasn't about being fearless. It was about trusting herself, step by step. When they reached home, Masha looked up at the stars peeking through the twilight. A bear, she said softly. A thank you for being by my side. He smiled, unlocking their cozy little house. Always, Masha. That's what best friends do. She yawned and rubbed her eyes. I do think I'll have more brave days. Bear tucked her into bed and whispered, Every day can be brave if you have kindness in your heart and courage in your steps. Masha smiled sleepily. And then tomorrow will be another brave day. As Bear turned off the light, the moonlight gently touched Masha's face. She dreamed of leaping across rivers, climbing mountains, and helping her forest friends find their courage too. Outside, the night whispered softly through the trees, carrying her tiny dream into the stars. And so, in the quiet of the forest, bravery didn't roar or shout. It glowed gently, like fireflies around a sleeping girl who had taken one small, big, brave leap, with her best friend by her side.